Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learnable Computer Science. Today, we'll be going through the second video of Python course, where we basically look at the print and input statements. This is where we really start coding our first in Python with all the stuff that we learned so far with variables and data types and using them to provide tangible results. So in this video, we'll be going through that. So first, it's important to talk about the print statement. The print statement is basically a function where you can output whatever you want to the console. It has the parentheses to give you a place to add what you want to show to the console. For example, in the print statement over here in this example, right, you see print hello world with the quotation marks. Remember in the last class, we went over all the data types, right? If you see inside the parentheses, all of them are data types, except this one, which has nothing in it, right? Because this is a string, this is an integer, this is a float, and this is a Boolean. So we put the data types inside of the print statement, and it prints it out to the console saying exactly what you want it to say, saying hello world. This is really cool, as whatever you want for the thing to say gets outputted to the console, and you can do it for all the data types. So over here, because you do the print hello world, the string, right? The print statement basically puts the string hello world into the console. So when you run this function, it will run this. But it can also work on integers and floats. Look at this. Print 3. 3 is an integer, right? So once you do print 3, it outputs 3 to the console. The exact thing. There's no changes, there's no spaces, there's no tabs. It's the exact thing what you wanted. Inside of the parentheses is what you want to be included. And the same thing for floats as well. See, inside the parentheses is the 8.2937. And once you do print that, it'll print that exact number to the console. So basically what this is doing is you give it information and then the print statement basically pushes it to the console. And you see here, the print, there's nothing in the print statement. So then it will just be a blank line because you place no data types in it. And then here's a Boolean. And if you just print that Boolean, you get the exact same value. Now let's take it one step further, right? When we use Python, we want to get input from the user. If you think about it, all the applications that you use, for example, Instagram, Twitter, all those kind of stuff, right? They all have inputs, right? For example, if you are on YouTube and you press on a video, you're giving input to the app that you want to watch that video. So all the applications use some sort of input, and which is what we're going to do right now. So the input is super important, and it's the way to get information from the user. And this is used to make very interactive programs instead of just, if you go on the back slide, if you just print out this, it's kind of boring, right? But if you use the input and make the user involved in the program, then it evolves into something better. So here, last class, we also went over typecasting or casting for short, right? That is used for inputs. For example, you see the int and then the input, because the user, if you're expecting a number, then you have to put an int around it, right? Because this automatically collects a string, and then you want to collect that to a number. Remember the example where we had int and then the quotation marks 3 in the last class? This is exactly what it's doing. Once the input runs, for example, once this input runs, it gets a string, it converts it to a string, and then it places that in the container of name. Same for string, same for float. For example, for int, if you say, what is your age, right? You say input, what is your age, right? So that will return a string value, right? When you're asking it, it will return a string. So you'll have a string, but you want an integer because age is an integer, right? So use a typecasting to switch that over to an integer. And we'll go more into this once we start coding in this class. So so please open your VS Code. I have mine open right now. So basically, let's get kind of started into this, right? So let's go over the print statement, right? So um, let's say I want to print hello world to the console, exactly what I did before. Print, you have to put the quotation marks, remember? Hello world. So now if I run this, let me clear my console. Hello world, you see that? Basically, this is the thing that you want to be printed out. This is the thing that you want to be printed out, and the quotation marks signal it's a string. You could also do print, what is your name? And bam. There's no input. Remember, this is a print statement, not an input. So it only prints it out. And this is where we want to make it so that we want to use input. So now we can just say input, what is your name? Right? These two are the exact same. Let me just put an enter. These two are the exact same, right? But the thing is, the input asks for what is your name, while the print just displays it to the console. So when I run this now, hello world, what is your name? This is the print statement. What is your name? This is the print statement. And now it's asking for what is your name. So I can put my name, Sai, and it just does nothing with it. You may be asking, why does it not do anything with it, right? Well, this is only asking for the input. You're not doing anything with it, right? Like there's no like you're just asking for the input here. You're not doing anything with the input or that kind of stuff. So first let's get started on maybe putting a variable, right? So you put say username. How about just name is equal to input, what is your name? Maybe that'll do something. Um let's run it. So hello world, what is your name? These both are print statements. So what is your name? I'll say Sai again. It doesn't do anything with it. Why does it not do anything with it, you may ask? But the thing is, what this line is doing is that it's getting the input, right? And it's assigning the input, which is Sai in this case, to the variable name. It's not doing anything with the input that you can see here. So let's just print out name, right? So we want to see the name at the end, right? So let's print out name. So this is both the print statements again. What is your name? Sai. And now it prints out my name. Basically, this use both input and the print statements. The input statement asks for what is your name, and the print statement printed out the name. It's very important that this variable name exists. And what if you want to say hello name, right? What if you want to say what is your name first, and then you want to say hello Sai or whatever your name is, right? So let me comment this out. Let me comment both of these out. Okay, let's run it now. Actually, if we want to do that, right, we should start by doing hello, end quote, right? And then this is important. You have to put the plus here. Basically, what the plus here combines the string of hello and the string of name. It may seem kind of not intuitive. You cannot add strings together, right? You can only add numbers. You can only add floats. You can only add those kind of operations for those numbers. But you can't add it for a string, right? Well, in Python, you can. So basically, this plus is called string concatenation. That's a fun word to use. Basically, what this does is it adds two strings together. It combines them, right? So if I walk through the code again, this gets the input from the user. So when I ask for the name, for example, if I run it now, oops, when I run it now. What is your name? And if I put Sai, right? If I put Sai and I press enter, this entire thing will be replaced with Sai. That's what it'll be replaced with. And then name will store the container of Sai or the input, right? So now if I print it out, it'll be print hello plus Sai, which is a string. So combining two strings together. So if we run this, right? Yeah, right here. Hello Sai. I can run it again just to make it easier. Yeah. Hello Sai. But now if I wanted to get input, which is what this is, okay? If I press run, what is your name? I put Sai. It replaces the input with my input, and then it prints out hello Sai. So if I run it now, oops, let me run it again. What is your name? Sai, enter, and then it says hello Sai. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, we're asking, why do we need to use casting, right? The input gets the input, right? So now let's get the age. So I can say age is equal to input. How old are you? Right? I can just put it there. And then I could say print you are plus age plus years old. Okay, basically what I've done here, which is very similar to what I've done on the top, is I just changed the name, I just changed the input, and I changed the variable. And I put the variable onto the print statement, exactly what I did here, except I added another string concatenation, which works the exact same way as you do this. You can add as many as possible. You can add like you could do that and then plus like that. Oops. And you could do that. It doesn't matter. You could do as many as you want. So basically what this is doing is it asks for the age, and you put the age in here, and then it places the age and it puts it like this. But you may be asking, where do we use typecasting here? That's what we need to do. We need to do int parentheses, and we put parentheses at the end. Basically, now what this is doing is it's asking for the input, and then it's converting that to a string. Remember our practices from last class. And then it's assigning that number into age, which then the age prints out. So then let's try it. If I run it, how old are you? I am 17 years old. So let's put that. It's erroring. That's kind of weird. So now let's look at the error. Type error can only concatenate string, not int to string. Take 1 minute to realize what is happening here. Feel free to pause this video and kind of check this out, because this is like a debugging skill, right? One thing that's really common for programmers is debugging. Debugging basically means to find your error. Here, it may be super intuitive, like why is this not working? I put the age variable inside of here, right? I got the input, I converted it to an int, I put the age, and I'm printing it out. But think about it. This is an integer. This entire thing is supposed to be a string. There cannot be a mix of data types inside of this. So that's why it's important to convert the age to the string now. So if I do stir and then do this. So basically what's happening here is I'm getting the input of the age, I'm converting it to an int, I'm placing it in the variable of age, I'm printing the age out by saying you are, and then you convert the age to a string plus years old. So let's try it. So I'll say I'm 17 years old. And then it says, you are 17 years old. Hopefully That made sense. One question again you may be asking is why do we even need to put this int and why do we even convert the string? Because automatically input is a string, right? So why do we need to place this into an int and then convert it to a string again? Well, that's more of a design choice, right? It doesn't make sense for age to be a string, if you know what I'm saying. Age is a number, right? So if you put like if you take this out and do it, right, it won't make a difference. Like if I run this, it won't make a difference. So if I say I'm 17 years old, it won't make a difference. But the thing is, it's about design. Age is an integer and it doesn't make sense for it to be a string. So that's why it's really important to have the typecasting. From what you're seeing here, we have been building on what we have learned on. Like last class, we learned about data types and typecasting. Here, we're combining typecasting with the statements to make actual programs that are actually useful to the average consumer. So if I go back to the thing, so basically what your homework is for this class is to convert Earth years to years and months on other planets in our solution on our solar system. So please finish this homework, and in the next video we'll be going over how to do this, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.